Today we're playing Pokemon Emeraldkaizo once again. It's been about 2 years since I last played this game, and after doing this run, I understand why. Arguably the hardest Pokemon game ever created, with battles that will punish you so hard you're going to scream for your mummy. Well-crafted opponent teams, weather moves are banned, all setup moves are banned. A ton of amazing held items aren't in the game. What I'm trying to get at here is that you're put at a crazy disadvantage. And all those things I just mentioned before, well, the opponent does get access to them. So if the opposing Gyarados starts dragon dancing, good luck. Countless people have raged at this game, and today we are going to try and beat it with only fighting type Pokemon. So if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to do so. It will be amazing if we can hit 3,456 likes. And with all of that out of the way, let's punch our way through Emeraldkaizo. Although I'll probably be the one bruised up after all this. We do the typical intro stuff, you know, getting stuck in the back of a van, breaking and entering in someone's house and trying to steal their belongings, stealing some KFC, and kicking a raccoon in the face. I'm just going to make this clear right now, since Torchic evolves into Blaziken, I'll allow myself to use it because it might not be a fighting type right now, but once it evolves into Combusken, it will. Same goes for Poliwag and Poliwhirl, who eventually evolve into Poliwrath, who is a fighting type, and the last exception should be Shroomish, which also gets a fighting type when evolving into Breloom. Now that we have that out of the way, I sadly enough had to scratch up this beautiful little mudfish, pick up these balls from the professor, which I have to fill up eventually. I then went over to Petalburg City and grabbed my second Pokemon, Poliwag. Yeah, the entire encounter table has also been changed around. Some towns have grass patches that you can capture Pokemon in, which is honestly pretty damn great, as this allows you to strategize way more than in a regular Emerald run. So with Rory on the team, we run into this dude with the coolest glasses ever, and if I was him, I'd probably give him to my Swampert. I wish I could show you all of the other Pokemon that I captured, but for some reason, this part got a little bit corrupted. So I'll just show them in my party. In the woods, I captured a Shroomish, and on round 116, I grabbed the big fatty Makuhita. I also evolved Torchic into Combusken, giving us a big buff in stats, and I honestly don't think Roxanne is going to be that big of a problem with our type advantage. So let's get right into the battle. She starts out with a nose pass, and when I was a kid, I thought that thing was not his foot, but his mouth. I try to take it down with a Force Palm, but I don't even do half of its health. It decides to attract me and then just blow up in my face, killing my Pokemon and itself. Not knowing what comes out next, I brought out Poliwag because it probably had the biggest chance of winning any matchup. Except for the one against Sleep, so I put it to sleep with Hypnosis and swapped out into Combusken to double kick it. We also took out its counterpart Anorith with double kicks, but the swimming map Pokemon Relicanth used Yawn to put me to sleep, and Yawn in this game is not a 2-turn move. Nope, your Pokemon falls asleep immediately. So after extinguishing my burning chicken, I slurped up all of the fish's health with Mega Drain, poison powdered the next Pokemon Shuckle, and brought down his accuracy with 6 stages by using Mud Slap. And even though I was able to hit a Toxic, I was able to stall it out with Synthesis until the poison eventually killed it. The last Pokemon Lunatone makes quick work of me, so I swap in my final Pokemon, Rory, used 2 Hypnosises in a row because the first one got denied by a Lumberry. Then I shot my Bubble Cannon and Roxanne was no more. After leaving the gym, I felt like I entered GTA 5 because there was a heist going on. So we followed the culprit back to a nearby cave, we ambush him, take down his boss-like team, and steal back his hostage Pico. We get a free phone and call the pizza place.
Hello? Hello?
But I don't know, seems kinda sketchy. I think it ambushed myself as I tried to leave Rustboro City by May. Her lead was a Farfetch'd, which is pretty scary for my fighting type team, but Combusken killed it with 2 double kicks. The next Pokemon in Arena went down to some Flame Wheels, but was able to poison me with Toxic and stall me out a bit with Protects. Marshtomp still takes a double kick to the face before taking me out. Luckily, Shroomish is the perfect counter with Mega Drain. Quilava then once again counters me, so I'm forced to pivot into Poliwag. Bubble Beam takes care of the Badger that's on fire. I decided to stay in with Poliwag on Minun for some reason, only able to hit 1 Bubble Beam before going down to Thunder Shock. Sumo goes and Force Palms it twice, and the last Pokemon is going to be Bulbasaur. 1 Smelling Salt is the only thing I can still hit before going down to Sacred Power, and then it's Grass type versus Grass type. I bring in Shroomish, Mud Slap it until it's dead, and luckily because of all of those accuracy lowerings, he was barely able to hit a move on me. If you've ever played games like Dark Souls and stuff, you know those are really hard. but it's nothing compared to trying to talk to Mr. Briny when you're using speed up. This guy zooms so fast, Sonic has nothing against him. Eventually, we do get the free boat ride and arrive in Dewford Town, home of the fighting type gym, as well as a ton of fighting type encounters in these two patches of grass. I grabbed a Tyrogue, Mankey, and Machop. I now actually have to grab 3 Tyrogues to get all 3 Hitmon evolutions, but money is a little bit of a problem right now and I actually ran out of balls. So I evolved Tyrogue to get Hitmonlee. We all know what time it is now. Time to enter the forbidden Granite cave, which normally isn't a hard cave to traverse, but here you have one of the hardest puzzles ever. And it's not just a regular puzzle, it's actually an ice puzzle, which I just looked up a tutorial for on YouTube because I'm not getting stuck here for about half an hour. Eventually, we reach the devil himself, Steven, and give him his letter. Now it's the clash of the fighting types. Time to beat up Brawly. He leads off with an Intimidate Hitmontop, which is not great for my sumo. I was able to hit a Force Palm and paralyze the Hitmontop, but that's about it. I then swap it into my own Hitmon brother, Hitmonlee, and jump kick it to take it out. I then took out Poliwrath, Hitmonlee, and Hitmonchan as well before Meditite came in, who went down to 2 secret powers, and the last Pokemon was a Hariyama. Fake Out took care of me, so I brought in Rory, tried to hit the Hypnosis, but everything in this game seems to have a Lumberry. So Poliwag went down soon after. Mankey did some decent damage with a boosted Revenge and a Karate Chop, but this big bulky beast was still able to take out my little monkey. Combusken then kicks it out of the ring, and that's our second gym badge acquired. After hitting the Slateport with Mr. Briny again, you get ambushed by trainers as you're stepping off the boat, and this happens a ton. Stepping on a ladder, there might be a trainer there. And honestly, if you want to get from point A to point B, you're going to have to run in a ton of trainers anyway, which is what makes emeraldkaizo so tedious to get through in my opinion. As you enter the museum, you have to do 2 Team Aqua grunt members in a row, and they both have teams of 6 Pokemon with some good water types on them. I managed to hang on with the skin of my teeth and save the Devon goods. After getting scolded at by Archie, I went back to Dewford Town and grabbed another Tyro because I had accumulated more money to buy balls. I evolved it into Jackie Chan, and Poliwag also evolved into Poliwhirl, and lastly we also brought Breloom on the team. Now it's time for the infamous round 110. And in Emeraldkaizo, the main battle doesn't get any easier. I sent out my newly acquired Hitmonchan first, and Hermione immediately makes a mistake by paralyzing me, and because I have guts, my second Mach Punch is killing. Pidgeotto was a little lucky because I tried to hit a second Mach Punch but got paralyzed and killed by Aerial Ace. I had jump kicked it with Hitmonlee, and she brought out Nidorina, who did a ton of damage with Sludge Bombs, but I did come out on top with Secret Power. Ivysaur finished me off with Sludge Bomb. I bring in Combusken, almost die to a Sludge Bomb again, but hang on with 4 HP, counter back with a Flame Wheel, and burn it up. Starter versus starter. Sadly enough, this Marshtomp is faster and can Water Pulse me. I bring in Mankey, but he's only able to hit 1 Revenge before going down to Mudshot and Body Slam. Breloom then finishes it off with 2 Mach Punches. Kalava also gets hit by 2 Mach Punches before taking me out with Flame Wheel. But Rory is the perfect counter, 1 more Water Pulse, and May is finally done. As you can see, we once again only have 1 Pokemon remaining, so these matches are really close. We reach Mauville City, and as we try to enter the gym, Wally is there waiting for us, and he might have a level 70 Ralts that looks really scary, but once you realize it doesn't have any attacking moves and just attacks with Will-O-Wisp and Pain Split, this fight gets really easy. Scott harasses us once again, so my Makuhita kicks his ass and gets an evolution into Hariyama straight after. Mankey also evolves into Primeape, which is really good because Primeape actually has an amazing speed stat, and this turns him into the fastest Pokemon that we can acquire. There's actually only 3 more Pokemon we can get, which are Hitmontop, Medicham, and Heracross. The first 2 I'll be grabbing right after we get the 5th gym badge in Surf, but Heracross is not available to me until we've gotten the 8th gym for Waterfall and defeated the 8th gym. So let's get back on that gym grind and take on Watson. By now, my Hitmonchan has learned Earthquake, which is great for this gym as we can one-shot Jolteon on turn 1. Electabuzz almost takes me out with a Psychic, leaving me on 6 HP, but we Earthquake again after that to take it down 2. Lantern took an Earthquake like a champ, Ice Beamed me, and forced me to bring out Hitmonlee with the high jump kick. Ampharos then took 3 high jump kicks to go down, but Raichu countered me with a Surf. I got a critical hit fake out with Sumo to take away about half of its health to then take it out with Force Palm the turn after. And the last Pokemon Manectric was no problem with one more Force Palm, then swapping in Breloom, Mag Punching twice, and then adding this gym badge to our total. I then tried to get the Rock Smash HM so that I could obviously proceed further in the story, but the guy wasn't here. Nope, the game forces you to go through round 117 doing multiple double battles, which will make you go crazy. Eventually we managed to reach this devilish NPC and grab the HM, and on our way to Fall Arbor Town we did a couple more evolutions like Combuskin into Blaziken and match up into Machoke. There's one more boss fight before entering Fall Arbor Town, and that's with the one and only Red. And he has the Pokemon mascot, has his first Pokemon, which goes down to a single Earthquake from Hitmonchan. I then also learned Shadow Punch to Hitmonchan, which is going to be our very best Ghost type coverage. I then also take care of Blastoise with Sky Uppercut and Mach Punch. Espeon was a little bit harder to take down, but we got super lucky with 2 flinches in a row from Primeape's Rock Slides, and the third one killed it. Charizard was an easy one-shot as well. Snorlax got Bricked in the belly, and on the last Pokemon Venusaur we got a couple more Rock Slide flinches, and this is what I mean with Primeape is probably gonna be our best Pokemon for now. The speed and the flinches are just on another level. We do the Clefairy Dance together with the 2 evil teams in Meteor Falls, and then head to the top of Mount Chimney, but the first hurdle here is not going to be Waxy. Nope, it's going to be Tabitha because his team is just as good with a Dodrio that can take out like half of my team with Drill Peck. Once this 3-headed bird gets taken care of though, my team has no problem taking the rest of his down. But let's see what Maxi has in store, starting out with a Registeel that immediately blows up in your face. Then a Claydol that luckily goes down to a crit from my Shadow Punching Hitmonchan. Alakazam was also no problem going down to a single Shadow Punch while tanking a Psychic with only 5 HP remaining. If I was 1 level lower, I could not tank this. Now Dusclops might be a very big problem because it's super bulky. I am able to hit 1 Shadow Punch and not even do half of its HP as I go down to Shadow Ball. It also has rest and leftovers so it can always heal up, but luckily I can just bring in Sumo and hit 2 more of those Shadow Punches without it being able to heal up, and that is the big ghost down. Crobat is a big threat as well. With Air Slash he can flinch and kill my entire team, but Sumo doesn't get flinched and hits the Rock Slide, doing a ton of damage before getting put in the ground. My fastest Pokemon Primeape does get outsped, but still tanks an Air Slash like a champ, goes for the Rock Slide and takes out Crobat. I then used Endeavor with Primeape on Houndoom, and believe me, Endeavor is actually a really good move in this game because sometimes you can just get a Pokemon down into red HP, which otherwise would sweep your entire team. I bring in KFC, but because Overheat is actually a recoil move in this game, just like Superpower and all of these stat lowering moves, the Houndoom actually takes himself out. Believe it or not, but Flannery is actually a super easy gym battle for me because all of my Pokemon have access to Rock Slide and Earthquake. Or at least most of them do. While Machoke might not be able to do anything against Ninetales and gets one-shot by Overheat, I then bring in Primeape, take it out with Rock Slide just like the next Pokemon Charizard. As he brings in Blaziken, I decide to swap out and save Primeape for later and bring in my own KFC. I use Sky Uppercut and Aerial Ace to win this matchup, but Typhlosion then finishes me off. I bring in Hitmonlee, tank a Heat Wave, Earthquake, and do a ton of damage before getting taken out, bringing in Hitmonchan and going for the Mach Punch. I also easily take out Arcanine despite the Intimidate with 2 Earthquakes, and the last Pokemon is Cast Form. I hit an Earthquake, get taken out by Flamethrower, but Primeape buries Flannery under a slide of rock. We get a special pair of glasses from May, which we don't need because there's no fighting types in the desert, so we just yeet them out. We headed back to Petalburg City, the town of our dad, and personally I thought his team was going to be super easy to beat because, you know, normal versus fighting, we should have this. But his Espeon with Skill Swap proved to be more of an obstacle than I thought, just like his Swellow. So after losing to him a couple of times, I decided to just take out the Espeon turn 1 with my 2 Shadow Punching dudes. But that didn't work out in my favor because Hyper Beam Slacking is hitting like a truck and Hitmonchan can't really take that too well. And because Hyper Beam is actually a physical type move because there is no special split in this game yet, we also have to take this big monkey down as fast as possible. I bring in my very own Primeape and start Rock Sliding. 2 of those take out Espeon, and I also hit some major damage on Slacking with Force Palms from Sumo. Slacking then proceeds to take out Primeape with Crush Claw, and he also brings in Swellow. I then kill Slacking with Force Palm and bring in Hitmonlee, and his next Pokemon is Snorlax, which should be no problem. The Swallow is able to take down Hitmonlee and KFC with Sky attacks, but because it's also a recoil move, Swallow has no choice and takes itself down too. I only have 2 Pokemon left against his 3, so I bring in Breloom and he swaps in Kangaskhan. I kill the Kangaskhan easy with a Sky Uppercut, but Tauros comes out and intimidates both of my Pokemon, which means we're not going to hit as hard anymore. Breloom goes down shortly after, so Sumo is my last Pokemon standing. I take out Tauros with some Force Palms, but this Snorlax has been setting up curses for like 10 days by now. So the only thing that could really save me is a crit, which I managed to get, and that's Norman out of the way. We get abducted by the friendly neighbors and grab the HM for Surf out of their cabinet. This allows me to go back to Dewford Town to pick up a 1% encounter Meditite and the final Tyrogue, which will give me access to Medicham and Hitmontop with Intimidate. Huge, by the way. Machoke also evolved into Machamp at level 50 because trade evolutions are no longer needed. And as it turns out, Fall Arbitan also sells Water Stones, which allow me to evolve Poliwhirl into Poliwrath, giving us even more coverage with its water typing. Useless dialogue with Steven aside, the Weather Institute was the next thing on our list to tackle. And while in a normal playthrough, the Weather Institute is nothing, like literally nothing, the only thing it's really famous for is the worst Pokemon you get ever, Cast Form. Well, I'm pretty sure I lost to about every single grunt at least 2 times, and the admin here, Shelly, also has a team you can't disregard with Pokemon like Milotic on it. Eventually I decided to put Poliwrath on the team, which made a lot of their water types obsolete and granted me the win as well as a cast form, and even if this thing had a fighting type form, I'd never use it. We cross the Bridge of Doom and see some Feebas swimming down there and run into May again, but her team is honestly way easier than even all of the battles I did in the Weather Institute, so we're just going to skip over it. We also help Steven take out Rango the Sheriff and head back to arguably the best designed city in the entirety of Gen 3, Fortree City. Here we have to face the flying type gym leader Winona, but it's not only her that gave me a headache. Nope, all of our gym trainers were super hard to beat with Pokemon like Salamence and Gyarados and even a Shedinja, which if I didn't have Rock Slide, I couldn't even take out. All of that aside though, Winona has been changed into a double battle, and she has Pokemon like Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres. I have no idea how I'm going to beat this, but the only thing I could do was overlevel just a teeny tiny bit, and level 63 was the sweet spot after getting my ass kicked about 20 times in this gym. The only thing I could honestly hope for was a ton of Rock Slide flinches, so I decided to start out with Hitmontop and Primeape. This is a great duo because Hitmontop can use Detect and most of the time just negate some of the moves, and its Intimidate is also going to let their flying type moves hit not as hard. On this run I got a little bit unlucky because I got Earthquaked and Sky attacked on Primeape, taking him down in the first turn, but I was able to hit a Rock Slide on both Aerodactyl and Zapdos. I bring in Sumo, go for the double Rock Slide and take both of their Pokemon out, as well as do some extra damage on the incoming Articuno. Moltres also comes in, but both of these are quad weak to Rock Slide, so we should have no problem taking them down. I once again use Detect with Hitmontop to protect myself, and Sumo gets taken out by Sky Attack. I bring in Hitmonlee, go for the Rock Slide 2 times in a row again, and take down Moltres and Articuno, but also once again do more damage on the incoming Crobat. The last Pokemon she sends out might have Fly in his name, but is not a flying type. You guessed it, Flygon. I protect my Hitmontop with Detect again, hit a high jump kick on Flygon, but the turn after, Crobat finishes me off with Sky Attack again. I swap in Hitmonchan, tank an Earthquake, hit 2 more Rock Slides the turn after to take down Crobat, so Flygon is the last Pokemon standing. I go for the double priority Quick Attack, Mach Punch, and finish off Winona, with most of my team still intact and only an 8 level difference. I head straight to Mount Pyre and mow down all of Archie's grunts and admins, and I would have grabbed one of the red or blue orbs that they sell here, but they had just ran out of stock, so I had to settle for a Magma emblem instead. With this Magma emblem, we can enter the second worst area of this game, the Magma Hideout. It's filled with so many trainer encounters, and every single one can take you out if you make one mistake. Once you get all of these grunt encounters down, you still have to beat the admin, which is arguably a better team than Maxi himself. Then once you are able to get through a Pokemon like Salamence, Regirock, Kangaskhan, and come out victorious, it's Maxi time. And for my team, the biggest problem is a Chlorophyll Executor that will literally sweep everything I have with Psychic. The only way for me to win was level up my team until I could at least tank a Psychic and counter back with maybe some Shadow Punches or Rock Slides. So after coming back at various levels, I eventually settled on level 75, about 9 levels above his highest level Pokemon. And I also brought in Medicham to at least tank a Psychic from the Exeggutor if needed because it's neutral against it. He always leads with Tyranitar, which is an easy kill with High Jump Kick from Medicham. Flygon is a 2-shot with High Jump Kick, but only because my second one was a crit. Gengar is super fast but can't one-shot my Medicham with a Fire Punch, so I'm still able to get off a Psychic before falling to a Psychic myself. The reason why this thing doesn't use Shadow Ball is because it's actually a physical move, believe it or not, so it would also not kill me. So instead I bring in Primeape, my fastest Mon, outspeed, go for Rock Slide and kill the big bad ghost. The Chlorophyll Exeggutor is going to be able to one-shot me with the Psychic, so I bring in Hitmonchan who can tank a Psychic with 22 HP remaining, go for the Shadow Punch and Mach Punch to do a little bit over half of its health before getting taken out, so I swap in Hitmonlee, also tank a Psychic and finish this stupid Coconut Tree off with a Mega Kick. Arcanine's attack gets crippled by Hitmontop's Intimidate, I then kill it with 2 Rock Slides and the last Pokemon is going to be an Entei. I get super lucky because this Entei can easily kill me with any fire type move here, but it goes for the stupid Solar Beam leaving me with 2 HP, so I endeavor and then try to take it out with Quick Attack, but its priority Extreme Speed goes first, which means I have to bring in Blaziken and finish this battle off. We do an interview with the press and see some guys steal a submarine, you know, just everyday shenanigans here in Hoenn. We then head straight to Lilico City, and since we're a little bit over leveled by now, May's level 60 team is no problemo. Team Aqua Hideout is also not fun for me to go through because around every corner there is just a Team Aqua Grunt with an exclamation mark above its head ready to kick my ass. While it's definitely not as bad as a Team Magma Hideout, I still had a little bit of trouble with a Dragon Dancing Dragonite on the admin's team that would literally sweep me with Hidden Power Flying, but besides that we see the submarine leave and head straight to Moss Deep, where we have to face arguably the hardest gym battle up until this point and probably the hardest gym battle in this entire run. Tate and Liza with their Psychic types. There's only one Pokemon that isn't weak to all of their Psychic type moves, and that's Medicham, and honestly, it can't really touch any of their Pokemon. After 36 attempts, I threw in the towel and leveled up my team to 85, which is 15 levels above all of their Pokemon, but it was needed, otherwise we weren't going to get through this. Let's see how I got through them. They started out with the Lottie twins, and I lead with Hitmonchan and Hitmontop, going for Detect on Hitmontop to stop their Luster Purges and Mist Balls. I then Shadow Punch the Latias, and the turn after I go for Shadow Punch and Rock Slide, luckily flinching the Latios. Hitmontop also tanks the Mist Ball, and we can finish off Latias with another Shadow Punch. They bring in Gardevoir and I go for the Shadow Punch Rock Slide combo yet again. This time I don't get a flinch and almost take down Gardevoir, but Hitmontop also falls to a Luster Purge. I bring in Primeape, who tanks a Psychic from Gardevoir with just a teeny tiny slither of health, but the next turn we take both of the Pokemon out with Rock Slide and Shadow Punch as they bring in Medicham and Starmie. They fake out my Primeape to take it out, I bring in Poliwrath, take a Hydro Pump from Starmie and Shadow Punch Medicham for major damage. Hitmonchan then Shadow Punches Starmie and I Hydro Pump Medicham with Poliwrath to wash it away, and their last Pokemon is a Jirachi. They really aren't playing around. 2 Legends and a Mythical on the team? I'm just glad they didn't have Celebi or Deoxys. Or you know, Mew or Mewtwo. I easily take out Starmie with another Shadow Punch, but then our ace in the hole finally gets taken out by Meteor Mash. I bring in KFC, hit a Hydro Pump to take out about half of Jirachi's HP, and then we just Blaze Kick one more time, and that's enough to beat the Devil Twins. But that's definitely not the final double battle we're going to have to do, because we're heading straight to the Moss Deep Space Center where we team up with Steven against Tabitha and Maxie. Normally this fight really wouldn't have been as bad, but all of their Pokemon literally just focus on me. Like, Steven starts off with an Aerodactyl, and by the end of the fight, it hasn't even been hit once. And once my 3 Pokemon are down, the battle just ends. Steven can't finish it off for me because I get thrown out. Anyway, I went in with Hitmontop, Hitmonchan, and Poliwrath. My strategy was just to focus on the left side first, take all of them down with Rock Slides, Shadow Punches, Earthquakes, just anything it took, which ultimately gave me the advantage for 2 against 1. A couple more Hydro Pumps for my last remaining Pokemon Poliwrath, and we are golden. Space Center saved, now we can easily fly to Mars without any more problems. But Mars looks kind of weird. It's full of water and there's even a submarine here. And it only gets worse from there. Surf puzzles, ice puzzles. This game doesn't only give you hard battles, no, it even gives you headaches outside of battle. These are by far the worst puzzles in any game I had to do, and if I did not have a guide on YouTube, this video would probably not even have seen the light of day. Anyway, eventually we do reach the big aquarium fish and the big pirate. He's like, Kaizo, please join my team, but he just shoots off into space and challenges me because he thinks it's my fault. And this is once again a double battle. Starting out with Suicune and Raikou. A pretty good starting duo, if I say so myself. The rain is also always up in this battle, which means my Swift Swim Poliwrath is at an advantage, but he also has a Qwilfish and Kingdra that take advantage of it too. Anyway, I start out with Poliwrath and Hitmonchan, and double up on the biggest threat Raikou with Brick Break and Earthquake. I then proceed to take it out with a Mag Punch as they're both just setting up Calm Minds. I use Brick Break and Rock Slide and also flinch the Dragonite next turn that comes in. Another Brick Break and another Rock Slide, and both of their Pokemon are down. Kingdra and Metagross come out and I go for Earthquake and Brick Break and almost take down Kingdra, but because I hit my own Pokemon with Earthquake, Poliwrath is down too. I send out Hitmontop and Quick Attack the Kingdra out of here. Qwilfish comes in, and even though the Metagross protected again, I still went for Earthquake on the incoming Qwilfish, doing a ton of damage. I then Quick Attack Mag Punch to take the Spiky Ball out of here, which only leaves Metagross. I hit another Earthquake and my Hitmontop survives with like 1 HP from a Meteor Mash. I then hit a Shadow Punch and a Rock Slide, but the Metagross survives. But the turn after, we just Mag Punch with Hitmonchan again, and that is Archie defeated. As the entire world is about to explode because of a big Godzilla and a big oversized aquarium fish, we have to go and check out the god of all snakes to save the world. I know, doesn't make sense to me either. Once he's done shouting all across the region, we enter the 8 gym, which actually has 2 gym leaders. Wallace is the first one you have to beat, and after that you have to go and beat Juan. They have the exact same teams, but Juan is a double battle and Wallace is a single battle. I'm just going to show the Wallace battle because, to be completely honest, Juan was like 10 times easier for some reason. Here we go, Kingdra versus Hitmonlee. I take 2 Octazookas with 20 HP remaining, high jump kick Kingdra in the face twice. Milotic cleans up with Surf, I then bring in Poliwrath and hit a couple of Brick Breaks, but I could put to sleep as well, which allowed the Milotic to get me down to 25 HP by using Surfs. I hit one more Brick Break on Cast Form before getting frozen to death by Ice Beam, so I swap in Primeape to outspeed with Cross Chop and kill. My mascot then takes me out after only taking 1 Cross Chop to the face, and then it's Medichamp's time to shine, but he uses Yawn to put me to sleep. I go for the high jump kick, but it survives with a teeny tiny slither of health. It's another Muddy Water, bringing me down to 3 HP myself, and I finish off this big beast with Psychic. Ludicolo beats me in a dance battle, I bring in Hitmonchan, he misses 2 Grass Whistles in a row, allowing me to kill with Rock Slides, and the last Pokemon is Lapras, who does take me out with a Surf and an Ice Beam, but I'm able to hit a Rock Slide and Mag Punch, getting it down into red HP, so Hitmontop can win this battle with 1 final Rock Slide. It's Gym Badge acquired. Before I go to Victory Road, I make a quick stop to grab a Heracross, who will be a necessary team member for the final fight against Steven Stone. With Hercules on the team, I ran into Victory Road and battled Wally. Heracross immediately shows what it's worth. One-shotting Meganium with a Mega Horn, and I have no idea how this Blissey survives a Brick Break with its frail defenses, but it's able to counter back and kill Heracross, forcing me to Mag Punch it out of here with Hitmonchan. Gardevoir comes out, I'm able to hit a Shadow Punch and a Mag Punch, doing over half of its health, before getting killed by a Calm Mind boosted Psychic. I bring in Primeape and get a lucky critical hit Rock Slide to take down this waifu Pokemon. Raichu takes me out with a Volt Tackle and an Extreme Speed, but I'm able to leave it with like 1 HP after a Cross Chop. And comes in, tanks the Volt Tackle, the recoil damage takes out the oversized mouse. I Psychic the incoming Hitmontop before going down to Hidden Power. Bring in KFC, Blaze Kick it, and the final Pokemon is going to be a Vaporeon. Funny enough, did you know that Vaporeon is... I use Sky Uppercut before going down to Surf, and Rory Brick Breaks this oversized dogfish, to crush Wally's hopes and dreams so we can head over to the Pokemon League and craft our final team. I just want to say a huge shout out to Chizzy and his fighting type video, because otherwise I would probably never have been able to craft a team to take down the entire Elite Four and champion. So here we have it, a Medicham with Black Belt, Fake Out, Rock Slide, Shadow Ball, and High Jump Kick. Kev with the Quick Claw so that it can sometimes outspeed Pokemon that it shouldn't, with Foresight to hit those pesky ghost types, as well as Rock Slide, Facade, and Superpower. Poliwrath also with the Black Belt, and Superpower, Hypnosis, Ice Beam, and Hydro Pump. Primeape with the huge speed stat, as well as the Black Belt with Endeavor, Reversal, Endure, and Earthquake. Endure combined with Reversal and Endeavor can actually make for some really cool plays, so let's hope we get to use it maybe just one time. Second to last is KFC the Blaziken with Black Belt, Fire Blast, Thunder Punch, Superpower, and the priority Quick Attack. And now the Pokemon that will do most of the carrying, Quick Claw Heracross, because it's going to have to outspeed some big Pokemon if we want to win with Facade, Rock Slide, Brick Break, and Mega Horn. Now let's get right into the battle with Sydney. Starting out with a pesky Sableye that has no weakness in this gen against my Poliwrath. I put it to sleep 2 times with Hypnosis because of the Lumberry and get hit with 1 Shadow Ball. We then wash it away with 3 Hydro Pumps and go into Houndoom. I tank a super effective Hidden Power, counter back with the Hydro Pump, but it also survives. I get crunched and bring in Blaziken to finish it off with Quick Attack, and the next Pokemon Tauros intimidates me, but that doesn't matter because we Superpower and still finish it off after tanking an Earthquake. I do go down the same turn because of the recall damage of Superpower, and the next Pokemon is going to be Alakazam against my Machamp. I almost go down to a Psychic, but I hit back with a Facade, and normally I was going to go down here, but because of my Quick Claw, I outspeed and kill Alakazam with another Facade. Hidden Power from Jolteon finishes me off. I bring in Primeape, almost make him fall through the floor with Earthquake, but because it's faster, I'm going down to 2 Thunderbolts. Hercules finishes it off with Facade, but also gets paralyzed because of a Thunderbolt, going into the next Pokemon, Machamp, which I'm only able to hit 1 Facade on before getting taken out, but Medicham can easily finish off this battle and head straight into Phoebe. And here Medicham is going to shine against Gengar. I tank a Thunderbolt, counter back with the super effective Shadow Ball, and that's a big threat down already. An even bigger threat is Crobat. It air slashes me, so forcing me out into Machamp. It misses its move, I go for Rock Slide and one-shot, but only because of a crit. For Gardevoir, I swap in Hercules and get Thunder Waved. A little bit unfortunate, but my Quick Claw activates next turn, Mega Horning it, and that Piers is not gonna feel good. So an even bigger threat comes out, Dusclops. I bring in Machamp again, it does set up a double team, but I go for the Foresight, then get a crit with Superpower yet again, taking it down. Sableye is no different, we Foresight, making Superpower super effective, and the little gremlin guy is out of here too. The last Pokemon, Ludicolo, Grass Whistles but misses, so we Superpower. Next turn our Quick Claw activates, hitting the Facade and winning against Phoebe. Now this next fight against Glacia was actually the easiest for me because I did it on my very first try. She uses an Ice type combined with Rain Team, and even though her Glalie is pretty bulky normally, it doesn't survive a Fake Out High Jump Kick combo from Medicham. I also hit an High Jump Kick on her legendary Regice, but an Ice Beam freezes me back to the Ice Age. I clobber it with Superpower from Blaziken, but Swift Swim Dugong outspeeds and one-shots with Surf. My own Swift Swimmer Poliwrath then superpowers back and kills it once again. Lapras is no different. Wailord also tanks a superpower very well because this thing has been buffed so much, and its Water Spout then spouts me out of here. We pummel the big blimp whale into the ground with superpower, and her last Pokemon is going to be a Swampert, who I also hit a superpower on with Machamp before going down to a Muddy Water and an Earthquake, but Hercules can sweep it up with one last Mega Horn. Now it's time for the hardest Elite Four member by far, Drake, starting out with a Latios. And the only way I'm killing this thing easily is if Hercules hits the Mega Horn and gets that Quick Claw activation, which of course happens after like 50 attempts. Latios is a bit stupid because it sets up a Calm Mind, so I'm able to take it out too, and Salamence with its Intimidate cripples my attack. I do still hit a Rock Slide because my Quick Claw activated again and flinched the Salamence, but I don't get a second activation, and Air Slash is the death of me, 4 times super effective. I'm not surviving that. Machamp takes another air slash like a champ, rock slides the Salamence no problem, Tyranitar goes down by a single superpower, but the recall damage did take me out too. Kingdra survived a superpower from my Blaziken, countered back with the Octazooka, and my Fiery Chicken is no more. Medicham then uses Fake Out and Shadow Ball to take out the oversized Seahorse, and then we only have Dragonite left. Luckily enough, we are faster, so we hit 2 Rock Slides, but it does set up a Dragon Dance and hit me with an Earthquake. But that wasn't enough to kill, so on to Steven. The hardest battle in this entire game by far. Even with this very much optimized team, it took me over 80 attempts to get all of the Quick Claw procs and moves that can't miss. Most of my deaths in this fight came either from Aerodactyl with Sky Attack and Rock Head so it doesn't get any recoil damage, or maybe Mewtwo who goes for the Psychic on my entire team and just kills all of them if my Heracross doesn't take it out with a Mega Horn and the Quick Claw proc. His Starmie can also do major damage as it's super fast, and its Psychics hit really hard, but his Deoxys and Psycho Boost can literally kill anything and everything if once again my Heracross doesn't hit that Mega Horn. Oh yeah, and did I forget about the Jirachi that he has? His team is basically just filled with Psychic types, and that's not good for our fighting type team. Anyway, let's get into our winning match. We start out with Blaziken against his Metagross and one shot with Fire Blast, of course. Jirachi almost takes me out with extra sensory because I miss a Fire Blast. Luckily it didn't have Psychic, otherwise I wouldn't have survived, but I do hit a second Fire Blast straight after, and that grants my wish of taking out the Wish Pokemon. I hit one last quick attack on Mewtwo to get some chip damage off, but we get taken out by Shadow Ball. I bring in Medicham and go for the Fake Out for even more chip damage, then I get Shadow Ball but survive with 95 HP. I counter back with a Shadow Ball of my own, getting the Mewtwo down into red HP. I bring in the only other Pokemon that can tank a hit from Mewtwo, and that's Machamp, leaving me with 33 HP, countering back with Facade, and that's that thing out of here. Then I get super lucky on Aerodactyl with Rock Slide. My Quick Claw procs outspeeding and flinching the Aerodactyl. Next turn my Quick Claw procs again, killing it. Another major threat down, only 2 Pokemon remain. Starmie takes me down with Ice Beam. So I bring in Primeape and hit one Earthquake, but Psychic takes me out. Poliwhirl only hits one more Hydro Pump, doing a little bit of damage, but of course it's not enough. Psychic, boom. Only 1 Pokemon remaining, Heracross. I go in, tank the Psychic with 63 HP remaining and hit the Mega Horn. Last Pokemon is the DNA God Deoxys. There's only one way that I win, my Quick Claw procs. I hit the Mega Horn and boom, Steven is down. And we have defeated Pokemon Emeraldkaizo after my 2-year-long hiatus with only fighting types. Personally, I'm still not a big fan of this game. It is so hard for so many unnecessary reasons, but boy, once you beat it, it feels so good. Let me know in the comments down below if you've personally ever beat Pokemon Emeraldkaizo, and if you're one of those lucky ones that's actually managed to hardcore Nuzlocke it. If you'd like me to play this game again with a different time of theme, let me know in the comments down below, or of course, if you just want me to play anything else. And with everything out of the way, I just want to thank my membership and Patreon supporters once again for supporting the channel. If you want to do so yourself, you can click the links in the description. It's always appreciated, but not needed. And as always, people, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm Zwiggo, and I'll see you guys next time.